Okay, folks, we're back, and finally got my shipment in from Hobby King for my Cap 232. So this is going to be build part 1 of the Cap 232. Show you what I kind of got here. This here is my Trinity motor I'm going to be running. Hopefully you guys can see this with the lighting. This is a C2830. It's 1050 kV. It's made by Trinity. So this is the motor I'm going to be running in the cap. The servos are HXT 900s. I'm running these in my Edge 540 that I got from the same exact company, and they work excellent. They're great servos. In fact, if you guys can see it, there's the Edge, which you may not be able to see it very well. That was the very first ARF that I've built. Great flyer. It's got a that one there's nitro, and it has a OS 40 4-stroke in it. Great flyer. I love that plane. So anyways, we get back to the cap here. Speed controller I'm running is a Hobby King 2530 amp speed controller, 2 to 3 cell LiPo. I'm going to be running a 3 cell, probably a 2200 milliamp 3 cell LiPo in this. So that's the speed controller. This tier was actually only $5 and some odd cents. The review was actually really good on it, so I said what the heck, give it a try, see how it goes. I wanted to stay cheap since I got the plane so cheap. This here's the mounting gear that came with the motor, and I think the motor I only spent, I want to say $10, $11 for the motor. The servos were $2 a piece. I mean, otherwise it's cheap, and everything I've gotten from them has been really good. I've been really satisfied, so hopefully it all turns out pretty good. Alright, let's get started here. Alright, here's the wing. Very first initial thing that I'm going to start on this build. And I noticed after getting the plastic off of it, if you guys watched my unboxing of it, after getting the plastic off of it, there is a few wrinkles in the plane, which once I'm done doing everything, I'll get the heating iron to it and straighten it back out. But what I'm initially going to do first, you have to CA these hinges into place, which they give you the nice rounded hinges. I really like these hinges. They work real well. They work as like a wick. So once you get them slid into place, which sometimes I notice, sometimes you might have to take an X-Acto knife or something and right there in the hinge area and slide it out a little bit more. So after you have taken and checked to see if your hinges here actually slide into the grooves here, and if you find out they didn't, then that's when, like I said, you want to take the X-Acto knife, kind of just take it, slide the knife in real nice and easy into the crack here, and maybe open it just a hair more. But if you found out that works and it's fine, you don't need to. You want to slide these out like halfway. So put them in halfway to where they're poked in, probably about like that, all the way down. Like this one here's too high. Like that. All the way down to make them even to where they're all about in the same spot. And then you're going to take and piece this back together, slide it back into the hinges all the way. Now once you get that, I'll show you with the other wing, since I'm kind of holding the camera here, it's kind of hard. Once you get that, you'll want it slid together like this. And then when you're going to go to glue them, when you go to glue them, you're going to want to bend the hinge back. Make sure you're lined up, bend the hinge back. Then when you bend the hinge back, you're going to take your CA and run a thin line where each hinge is actually at. So you'll run a thin line on this side all the way down your whole aileron here, and then you'll turn the wing over and do the same exact thing on this side. So like I said, it's like a wick. That's what I really like about these hinges, is it works just like a wick. So once the CA hits it, it spreads out into the wing, which works really, really well. So once you do that, you'll know that you're just kind of give it a little tug, which I'll show you that next here. But let me go ahead and do that, get that done, and then I'll be back and I'll show you what I've done and show you the progress. Okay, we got those CA'd into place, excuse me. Now, what I like to do after you CA it, kind of just move the hinge, the aileron back and forth, and the excess CA. What I also do too when I'm CAing is if I have a little overspill when I'm CAing in the crack when I do it, I just take a towel here and wipe it off. But what you want to do after that is you want to take your hinge and just try to give it a little pressure off the wing. Make sure it doesn't come off. If it doesn't come off and has good free movement, you did a great job. And as you can see, I really don't have a gap. There's just a slight gap if I go through. See, you don't want a very big gap there, because if you have a very big gap, then you'll hear whistling noises and all kinds of stuff. It may not fly right, whatnot. So anyways, we have the ailerons on the wings. So I just wanted to show you that that's what that looks like. They're both done. So I'm going to go ahead and put that aside. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next step. The next step, we need our fuselage here and our tail fin. What we're going to have to do is, right here there's a groove, and this has to slide in there into the plane like so. But what I also like to do is, it's better to take an X-Acto knife and shave off just a hair right here to where we're at bare wood. Because if you're at bare wood to bare wood with CA seems to work, or I'm sorry, with epoxy, seems to work a lot better. So I use a 30-minute epoxy. So what you're going to do is you're going to take an X-Acto knife and you're going to cut this off on both sides. Then you're going to take your rudder and tail fin, whatever you want to call it, tail fin. You'll slide it into place. Then, what I like to do is I have a square here with the end cut off. And I'll put it up against here, and I like to make sure it's straight. Because if you have a crooked tail fin, your plane ain't going to fly straight. It's not going to be right. So, I always, before I slide it in to do a pre-fit, I like to take my triangle here and check. Which, this one here, they pretty well have it to where it's pretty well set for you when it's already built. So, once you slide that in, you'll take your epoxy here, you'll mix it up. I always like to use little cups here, and then I use a wooden popsicle stick. Alright, sorry about that, guys. The phone rang. Anyways, I use a popsicle stick, and I don't know if you guys know about epoxies, but this is a 30-minute epoxy. You take both mixes and you put an equal amount into the cup. I only use just a little bit, because on this small plane it's not going to take much, but you take a little bit, you put it in your cup, and you want to mix it up real good. Mix it up nice, and because epoxy will stick, that's what makes it stick, is the two mixings. And then I just take my stick after I have cut this down. Remember to cut this paper off of this. Take your cup of epoxy or whatnot, you scoop it up, and then I like to drip it. I like to get a good glop on the stick itself. And stick it in there real good. Nice and pretty good and thick. Get a whole layer in this whole area right here in the back tail. Once you've done that, then that's when you'll take your tail fin here. and you will slide in. Like I said, once you have cut this down some, like I said, not much, because this only slides in so far. So you just want to cut off, oh, I don't know, yay bit. I mean, just a tad, just to get some bare wood there. Just shove that in, then take your triangle. Once you shove that in, you take your triangle here. Make sure it's straight. Sometimes if it wants to be a little wobbly, I like to take a little bit of painter's tape or masking tape, and I'll tape around the edge right here, which I'll show you what that looks like when I get it done. But I'll tape it, and it'll kind of hold the fin in place, because it actually takes 30 minutes to dry. So let me go ahead and get that done, and then I will be back and show you what the outlook looks like, what it looks like on. All right, be right back. Real quick here, I thought I'd show you guys how much I've actually cut off of the paper. And that's it. And then, like I said, when it slides into here, after the epoxy's in there, it'll be done set. You won't even see it. And that sticks better. Alright, I'll be right back. Okay, now we have a finished product here. The tail fin is on. It's also been checked, and we are squared away. So I think this is going to go ahead and be the end of build of part 1. So make sure you subscribe in the top left corner to see part 2. Alright, thanks a lot.